This week on Pivot with Purpose.
Oh, but wait, can we start first? We gotta talk about Church Bay. All right.
Oh, okay.
So within the last 24 hours, I have 3 new bays.
She's gotten married, engaged, and divorced, and remarried again and moving.
And we're passing each other. He's passing my car, and we are like right next to each other. He looks at me. He goes, "Hello." I know that. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? And I'm thinking I'm being sexy too. In my mind, this is me. Hi.
That was definitely not you.
Definitely when I finished, like in my mind, like, hey, came out. And really what came out was, he just kept walking. I'm like, why did I do that?
And then I yelled out to you.
And then this asshole yells, "You're walking right past your blessing." Oh my God. Welcome back to another episode. We're back in the studio. The webcam is done. I was having a tough week and I was just going to record because I needed to put out some content. But I really did want to do that episode. And sometimes that goes to, sometimes show you that you can be in a great production for a podcast, but you can also reach a lot of people by just turning on a microphone at home and using a webcam and the computer that you have. So although big productions like this that are amazing here at Hi Hello Labs are beautiful and necessary at times, being at home and doing a podcast really does reach a lot of people. And we're going to talk about last week's episode. But before we get started, there are 2 things that I want to do. One, the Apple Podcast review, because without you listening and interacting with me and leaving reviews, the show wouldn't grow. So today I want to shout out Andrea Joy, or Andrea, so many different ways to say that. But you have Joy. She says, genuinely good. Carla's such a genuine person. And as a new listener, I'm appreciative of her discussions. And I think that was really nice because I don't know how you call someone genuine when you don't know them, but I know how, because podcasting.
Yeah.
When you're in podcasting, you're listening to me every single week for an hour, a little bit more, maybe sometimes less, but you're constantly here. So I feel like people can't really hide their true selves in podcasting.
Long.
Not for too long.
No.
Although it's only an hour a week, right? But as time goes by and the years go by, you're like, wait, some things aren't adding up. But you could also see the progression and the growth of people through podcasting. So thank you for listening and being here with us. Look at me hitting the mic like I don't know how to podcast. Also, I want to talk to you about podcasting because we're on a roll already. If you want to launch a podcast, if you don't even need a big production, but you need your podcast and need to get it off the ground, there's a lot of people that have been reaching out to me. It's happened since the beginning. And they're like, yeah, I have a YouTube show. A YouTube show is not a podcast. Video on YouTube is not a podcast. It's just not. Where the money is in audio, and where the connection with people lies is the audio, which again, we'll start with community building and, all of that before any money comes into play. But that's really in the audio space because you can drive, take a shower, take a shit, be at work, take care of your kids, ignore your kids while listening to a podcast. You have them like in your ear, right? So if you need to do that, I do have a company called Idea to Launch Podcast Productions, and we do something called a VIP day. So in one day, literally all that stuff that you hear about RSS feeds and media hosts and trailers and outros and intros and engineering something and getting artwork together and getting, the show flow and your set, all of that. We do it in one day. And
not even a whole day. 8 hours.
About 6 hours. And then we take some time afterwards, internally, and we literally give you the entire podcast on a platter. And then from there, you can choose whether you want us to produce it on a week-to-week basis or, you can do it on your own. And I will teach you how to do it on your own. And by you doing a VIP day, you also get access to my course. So if you wanted to do it on your own, you could. So you can go to idealaunchpodcast.com or carlawilmaris.com. It's in the description of the episode. Moving forward, we're going to recap last week. I was by myself, like I said. I was at home. I had been going through some things after Mexico and then the Bahamas. Well, before the Bahamas, right? It was when everything happened. So after Mexico, the second Mexico trip. And
be specific.
Yeah, after the second Mexico trip. The first one was just me. It was the second one. The title of that podcast was My First Psychic Reading Almost Destroyed Me. Mm-hmm. That's the episode. Episode 185, I believe. Yes, very dramatic title. And that's part of production. Gotta reel you in somehow, you know what I'm saying? Come for the mess, stay for the message. But it really did. I almost died. I didn't. I got a lot of feedback though. I think my biggest worry for that episode was that people would misconstrue or they would take offense to what I was saying, just because I know that everyone, sees spirituality very different. And one thing that I've done always on this pod is respect people and their beliefs and how they think. I'm not really here to change your mind rather than just tell you what's on my mind and what I believe, and you can say, hey, I resonate with it or I don't, and that's up to you.
Yeah.
And I always hope that you guys would do the same, and I feel like everybody did. I have one letter of someone that wrote in. I have got tons of messages of people that were like, wow, thank you for this. We touched on a lot of different things. I touched on my boundaries with family and friends and, just people, period. And then this specific part here was the psychic reading. Now, I do want to say I didn't get a psychic reading per se.
Okay.
It was more of...
It was like a deep conversation.
Yeah, it was a conversation, and then at some point she was like, hey, can I read your energy? And I was like, sure. So yes, but no, I didn't go somewhere looking for a psychic reading, I should say. I think that's something that I've never been very comfortable with, and if you watch that episode...
You can tell you were a little...
Yeah, I was like, well...
Kinda.
I mean, we're on camera. What's the worst that can happen? I don't think the devil wants to be on camera. He camera shy. I don't know. He's not. He came in anyway. But anywho, I got all the feedback. I love that all of it was with respect. And the only thing that right now, I did get a lot of messages like, psychics are very intuitive. They're not all from the devil. Like if someone says this to you, then they're not right. Shout out to you. Go to them, right? I know a lot of people that go to them. If it works for you, it works for you. I was very clear that I said that once you have an alignment with my God, my Jesus, and again, I feel God is a very broad word, right? Everybody has different gods. Like Allah is a god, right? To the Muslims. And then Hindus have gods. And I guess Buddhism is not necessarily gods, but they praise like certain things. So there are different gods. I am talking about like Christianity, God, Jesus Christ, His Father, Holy Spirit, that God. Once you are in, you have a relationship with Him and you know better, you do better, and He will show you and He'll make you feel uncomfortable. Two things that the same week came up was Damson Idris, is that how you say it? And Sarah Jake Roberts. So I do want to play some audio from both of these because Damson, who is, you might not even know who he is, but you know how you want to know who he is?
Snowfall.
No, baby. Not even Snowfall.
Oh.
The girls will know who Damson is because he is Lori Harvey's boyfriend.
I wonder how guys feel about being known as.
If you're Lori Harvey's boyfriend, you know. You
yeah,
will
but
be known for
before
that.
you were Lori Harvey's boyfriend, you're a great actor in a show that's amazing.
Yeah, well, now you're Lori Harvey's boyfriend.
And I hope it doesn't end there. I hope that if it does end with them, he is not Lori Harvey's ex.
He will. Like, he's a superstar. What's his face? Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, but Damson got that accent.
Okay. But I'm just saying that Michael B. Jordan, even still, it's like, that's Lori's ex. He is Michael B. Jordan.
He's still working himself out of that hole.
But like, you even go on SNL and mention it. Like, yeah. Lori Harvey has a chokehold.
Lori Harvey got these guys. I would love to be. I mean, guys are
whatever.
Guys are easy to lure.
It's Lori's different. That motherfucker different right there. All right,
NDAs.
I know she gotta have NDAs. So Damson, he is an actor from Snowfall. There's a show Snowfall. He is a drug dealer in the show, right?
Kingpin. Yeah.
Kingpin. Well, he becomes it. Yeah, I haven't finished it. But he says that he had nightmares every day and he felt energy. And what happened was he had to tap into dark forces for this character. Not really sure why, but let's listen to it.
Okay.
If it comes up.
I've discovered. Yeah.
I remember sometime we did 10 episodes for my show, and in this last season,
the accent.
I was hitting a block, right? I was like, oh, I'm not doing it right? So I went in the corner, and then I was looking at the wall, and I was like, come on, devil, right? Come to me, because I had to do something like crazy, right? Had nightmares for a month. So it does come
to it or after?
Like I had nightmares every day, like I felt that energy.
Oh, interesting.
You know, and I had to pray and do all this stuff to like get rid of it. And, you know, you call your mom up and you're like, bring me back to life. And that stuff is real. That stuff really is real.
I think I was getting my
Happening.
That is so scary to me.
You're an actor. Number one. Number two, what was so bad in acting that you needed to do for you to have to do something so extreme?
I think that we all want to tap as creators into our best self and give the best content, which
Okay.
I feel like in a way that's where I was. Whether it was part self-discovery, but also I take my podcast really serious, right? Just because it might not be the biggest podcast out there, but I feel like I have enough impact with my listeners. Like there's thousands of people that still listen on a weekly basis. And I'm like, I just want to bring you something, you know, this week that is different, that makes you think outside the box. And I just went really far in the box of my comfort, my box. From content purposes, and I'm sure him as an actor, there's a lot of competition. You know? So if you have to tap into something that they're going to be like, oh, wow, like that, you get lost in the sauce, let's just say. But the devil is something that we know. When he said, I called my modo. Okay, maybe that's not the accent. My modo. Okay. Never mind. His mother, you know, you be calling your mama. She's a real, like, you know, woman of Christ. And it's like, I need to get this out of my system. And literally what I had to do, I had to go to church. You know, I had to be in that spirit, like, Lord, take this out of me. So when you hear last week's episode and then I see this right afterwards the same week, I'm like, oh, you know, this is not something to play with.
No.
And I played a little bit, you know, tapped my fingers in it, and God was like, hey, you know, that's what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Have you ever, like, felt anything funny from...
I don't play like that.
Yeah, like, I've been the one that I've never played with the Ouija board.
Heck no.
I've never done like palm readings.
So I've never done a palm reading or nothing. I've done like the tarot readings. But even with that, I always take it with a grain of salt. I look at the positive of it and I don't obsess in any of that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like, yeah, I've gotten tarot readings and I'm like, okay, great. I'm not like deep diving into finding out what this means or these cards or anything. No, I don't.
So
I live alone. I sleep alone. I have a vivid imagination.
I was looking into tarot cards because that is one thing that I did do. I did a tarot reading when I came back from Jersey, and I've talked about this. She was on here. Yeah, I looked into the whole tarot reading. I was listening to the read, and Kid Fury pulled some tarot cards, and they were like superhero cards, like I think Disney superheroes or Marvel superheroes. I don't know what it was. So I did did a little reading on tarot cards, and yes, biblically we shouldn't. But there are parts of tarot cards that you could definitely take it with. Just you pull one and you look at the book and like an owl means this, and you're like, oh, this is cool, you know?
Yeah.
Like I had that moth in my house, and
I
think I talked about it on the pod. I'm actually not sure.
You talked about the moth that we thought was the bat in the house, but
Was it in the podcast?
yeah.
Okay. Well, the moth thing, somebody sent me like what moths mean, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, you know? So with that, I'm not taking as oh, there's a spirit telling me something. It's more like I'm not doing too much with it now. But the second thing that happened the same week was Sarah Jake Roberts. Everybody by now has probably heard the sermon where she's preaching, and she literally preached her wig off. The Lord snatched it. And the message was amazing. Then the message went even more viral because Christian Rock was on live watching the sermon and like praying and crying. And it was but that's, if you've never experienced a Sarah Jakes Roberts sermon or read her book, like she will move you. This woman is anointed. So I'm actually going to go see her in September.
Ooh.
In Dallas. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Okay.
But
look at God.
I know.
Look
and I
at
bought
God.
this last year. I bought these tickets last year.
Lord, if you are moving,
he's in
you're closer
than Florida. Yeah, let's bleep that out. The city that I just said. Bleep that out.
Stephanie, minute mark.
Bleep it out. Right now. Okay. Well, Sarah Jakes Roberts has this message, and from last week's episode, I was telling you I was feeling everything physically. And there are times and things and energies that physically make you sick, make you ill. And I had not heard this message. And here goes the Lord talking to me through Sarah.
Knows how to talk to you. That's why you leave some people and your head is hurting. There are some people who are quite literally not good for your health. Anytime I leave from you, I start feeling nauseous. Anytime I leave from you, my bones are aching. I'm so tired and weary. I had all this energy, then one phone call with you and I need to close the curtains and get back in the bed. I don't think you're good for my body. And this doesn't even mean that we have to cut them off completely. It just means that I have to take you in doses. Because I don't have capacity in my body to carry your thing and my thing. And when I leave your thing, my thing is heavier than it needs to be. Because now I'm carrying your thing and my thing. And God can't even give me wisdom for my thing. Because all I can think about is your thing. And I need God to talk to me about my thing. Because my thing is eating me up alive. It's showing up in my body. That thing is keeping me up at night. It's showing up in my body. I'm sorry. I got to get clarity right now because my body's trying to tell me something. Do you think
Listen. And this is when her wigs start coming off.
the woman with the issue of blood cared about what she looked like? The woman, all right, I'm about to take it off.
She took the wig off. The Lord took the wig off. She said, there's a thing on you we got to take off right now. But no, the entire message was because I resonated with it so much. There was an energy in me that did not feel comfortable. But I've also been around people, and last week I was talking about these boundaries, and there are people that make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that you're like, I can't deal with what I need to deal with because you're bringing all of this baggage. There are people that there's times that I will not answer the phone for because I know when I answer that phone call, the next 30 minutes, the conversation, I will be drained for the rest of the day. And I can't do anything else.
Energy vampires. Like you can be in a great mood and then either coming across somebody, that person coming to your house or calling you, like you said, it'll drain you.
It's dark.
You're in a mood. And then after they hang up, they're like, all right, well, thank you so much for they're good. They're up. And now you're down.
Right. And I'm like, well, what did you just do? I remember talking to someone and he told me there was someone that had been around us for many years and around him for many years. And he's like, the second that this person left, it was like everything was brighter.
Yeah.
The sun was brighter, this heaviness. And he's like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was this person. And I'm like, bro, like, we would never know until we remove ourselves from that situation that it's like, oh, it wasn't me.
You need to feel uncomfortable to remove yourself.
Yes, because they're not going to remove themselves.
No.
So they love being around you.
Yeah, they're powering up off of you. They're living off of you.
My God. And then the thing is that we ignore our bodies.
Yeah, because we try and be a good person and listen to them.
Right. Or we just think, it's me. Something's wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to fix me. And that week or those 11 days when I was really sick, I'm like, it's me. It's my anxiety. It's the way I feel. I need to remove this. Why am I overthinking? Why am I feeling this way? When really it was something bigger than me that I needed to relinquish. And a lot of it was more gratitude. And I have been living the past 2 weeks like, oh my God, I was so grateful for my public sub yesterday. That's besides the point. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, it's just people around you. So when we're talking about boundaries, is also recognizing and having that self-awareness of who you have around you. And sometimes take a second. You're talking to someone and you're like, does that person make you feel heavy? And this is why. And I mean, I guess you be my friend, you could maybe tell the truth.
Always.
I feel like at times I could be, what did you call it? A vampire?
An energy vampire?
An energy vampire, because I have so many, my life consists of so many
cliffs, climaxes, surprises.
All the time.
Joy, sadness. Then you scare me. I go through ups and lows with you.
I feel like I'm always going through something and I get really scared of calling my friends sometimes.
But your friends know when something's wrong with you. We know.
But yes.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'm like, I cannot dump. I can't dump. And I have a really dope thing with May where sometimes she'll call and she's like, can I dump? Or how are you feeling before we start talking? And we'll like do that because her and I are two really big empaths and we have really bad ADHD and we'll like be completely sidetracked. So we'll call for one thing and then it's 2 hours later and we didn't do the one thing we were supposed to do. So we really have to be like, we got to focus on this. Or if she'll call and I'm not in a good mood or I'm like, hey, so I'm kind of going through it right now. Is that you need me to focus? Do you need me to not? I don't think I can take anything in. Or she'll call me. She's like, I need to talk. And I'm like, oh, I'm good right now.
Yeah.
We always ask. But for myself, I always feel like, oh my God, I'm going to drain someone because something again happened to me.
So are you asking me, do I feel that way about you? No, I think I've gotten really good at being able to be there when you need me. And then I also walk away when you don't notice. Like there's times that, yes, we talk every day, whether it's through text or a phone call.
Right.
But then I still have my time where you wouldn't even know what I'm doing. You don't know where I am.
I don't.
And that's just me taking my time alone. So no, I don't feel like you're dumping ever. And then on top of that, I've told you, I've told you before, like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, there's times that you've told me stuff and it's like, you're telling me because you want advice. And I'm like, I hear you. I don't know what to say. All I can give you right now is the attention and venting.
Sometimes things happen to me and I'm like, does anyone know what to say?
Yeah.
What do I do? But I feel also when I talk about new levels, new devils, there are things happening to me constantly. And I feel like I can't have certain elevation without separation.
Yeah.
And every time there's something coming, there's a separation that takes place with someone or something or a client or a friend or a business opportunity that I might not get. Like literally when I was going through this, those 11 days, Sunday I went to church, Monday I'm at home, it's the day before I leave to the Bahamas, and I received a phone call from a very big executive, from a very big network. A call.
On your personal cell phone.
My personal cell phone. And this is, this man could have called in any of these past 11 days. He's had my phone number because when I send certain emails, my phone number is in it to certain clientele. So we've exchanged and he just happens, when I answered the phone, I'm like, it doesn't say scam likely. It's from New York. Let me just answer it. And when I answer it, I was shocked and I was like, wow. First of all, I would not have answered this phone call a couple days ago.
No, we were on the phone.
And if I was on the phone with you.
On the phone.
And if I had answered the phone, there is no way in the way that I was feeling that I would have been able to react or do what I needed to do right away.
That's true.
Like at all. I would not have been able to do so. But it took for me to elevate, to go to church, to kind of get rid of this energy. And immediately this phone call came in. So when someone tells me you need separation for elevation, or you need Jesus, or you need to like remove certain energy from you for you to open up space to be available. If you don't believe it, I don't know what to tell you.
And that's the thing. You need to know. You need to know that what comes after you surrendering like that is going to be good. Because if you're somebody who needs to have control.
Oh, you need to have faith. Because you won't know.
Huge.
You just have to have faith. Because you don't know nothing.
You need to be faithful and you need to give up control. Because if you don't do that, for example, you could have gotten that phone call that day and they would have been able to say, you know what? We're going to do X, Y, Z. And your energy wouldn't have been the same.
No.
And then that would have created like some sort of doubt in them. Like, well, can she produce something of this magnitude?
Right.
Is she responsible with this much money that we're about to pour into her?
I can't believe it.
So it's like you do need to, but now for lack of a better word, you've seen this happen now over and over and over and over.
And you would think that because it happens over and over and over again,
it's
every
still
time
scary.
something punches you in the gut, you're like, oh God, I'm good. I get it.
No,
hit me again.
You're still a human.
Yeah.
But then the supernatural human part of you is you're allowed to cry. Like Pastor JJ said yesterday, you're allowed to cry.
Yes.
But what you do after you cry, you gotta be thankful. You know what? God, I'm so sorry that for example, the situation with your family, like your mom, God, I would love to have a relationship with my mom, but it's just not going to happen. But thank you for giving me surrogate moms. Thank you for those surrogate moms that I do have that have always come through for me, whether it's cooking me a meal, whether it's watching my son, whether it's folding my bed sheets and my laundry, whatever it was. Thank you for those women. And God, I made all this money. Thank you for this money. And now you're taking it away from me by going to court and paying lawyers. Thank you that I have the money to pay for a lawyer.
Right.
Because what if you didn't have the money to pay for a lawyer? There's
one thing, and I'll continue to say this on this podcast, my bank account, there's a song that I remember I grew up with, and it was, the lyrics are, thank you, Holy Spirit, we are in your presence, fill us with your power. But then it goes, you are living water, ever-flowing fountain. Mm-hmm. And I remember always singing that song. I sing it to Psalm all the time. Like while I'm singing, I know the words. I just can't think of it. But it was like, you're always feeling me. I love this other song by Tasha K. Cobbs. It's Fill Me Up. Mm-hmm. And I'm always thinking, I don't know why, but on my bank account. Mm-hmm. It's always, there's deposits constantly going in there, right? And sometimes it's like, there's more that goes out than comes in. And I'm looking at the statement. And when it says, and we're talking about a lot of money, right?
For real. I will vouch. A lot comes in. A lot goes out.
So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, and there's still money in there. Sometimes to me, it doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. But I don't question it. The accountant says we good. I'm looking at it and my account numbers. I'm like, it does work. But I'm like, wow, what are the odds that this check comes in when it comes in? That this client signs when they when they sign? That this invoice comes in, but then this payment comes in, and I'm not questioning it. I'm not questioning it because I have to relinquish that and say I'm not lucky. Lucky is like a few times, and if I was lucky, I would have been won the lottery. Right. I wouldn't have lost them $30 in that scratch off.
You tried.
Like, I tried. Not lucky. Yeah. I am blessed. Like that money comes in, but it also comes at a cost. And the cost is that I have to separate myself from people that I love the most. The cost is that I can't hang out whenever I want to hang out. You know, people love hanging out and taking vacations. I don't. You know, last night I was out to 11 something.
What time did you start?
I started at 3 o'clock.
We left the house at 2:30. And you didn't come home. She came home later than me.
Well,
I was in bed.
In whose bed?
I was in a bed.
Okay, because you said home. I was home.
I was in a home. Edit that, Stephanie. You can start here. I was in a home before you.
I will say that. I was out, and then I had to pay for it this morning. You know, I didn't get things done. And that's why when people are like, you're such a grandma, you be going, hey, I have to be disciplined enough to be in my home by 8 o'clock, to be in that bed. When my phone goes off and says 9 o'clock is your bedtime, I like to look at that notification when I'm already in my bed. I'm in my bed, like, you know, cozying up.
Now I can go to sleep.
Psalm is like right here on my rib cage. And it's like, okay, now it's time for me to like turn it off, watch whatever I'm watching. But if I don't have that discipline, and I'm like, it's cool, I was going to go to another brunch. And I'm going to go to another like club, or I'm going to go hang out some more. I'm going to stay up binge watching whatever Netflix series. Yeah. If I don't have the discipline to turn that off, my blessings wouldn't continue to come. Now, there are other things that I need to be more disciplined with. A lot of other things that I haven't been doing, like working out, a little bit more organized with some of the things that I'm doing and executing better. But
it'll come.
It will come.
I mean, God is a God of order and discipline.
Yeah.
You'll get there. Eventually, it's just, I mean, even like look at this week's sermon that we started.
This tea is really good.
Like they're talking about they were talking about money. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think you've come to the realization that it doesn't matter how much money comes in, this money has to go back out. It's coming out. So I think you've made peace, although it hurts. Trust me, you've called me. I know it hurts. You've made peace that like, oh my God, I've made X amount of money in my first quarter. And then you're like, but you know what? I got payroll. I got daycare. I got the house. Your kitchen just got redone.
Yeah.
I got this. I got that. So it's like, I think you've
gotten. Car, I have insurance. I have a kid that gets tickets that I have to pay for. I have diapers and wipes, and there's always something.
But you've come to the realization, and I think you've gotten to the point where you trust God, and it's like the money's gonna come.
What's the name of is it yesterday?
Managing.
Damn, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Church. Ooh, the long day. I feel like it was 3 days ago we went to church. I am so tired. I can't go out one day. I'm like,
You
when
said that was
church?
yesterday. Yeah, yesterday morning.
Wow. Okay. We're gonna go into this, but from yesterday morning when I left to church, I found my first boyfriend by 10 o'clock. Looked for him on the radio and shouted him out. Never found him. Then by 5 o'clock, I had a new boyfriend.
Let's push it to 4 because that was quick.
You think so?
Oh, that was fast.
I didn't see it.
Oh, we saw it.
Y'all saw something that I didn't see.
A lot.
It took Chance telling me a few times.
I know. You didn't see me and him talking? Like, yo.
We'll go into that. But I do want to say that Megan, y'all know that I know for sure. And Megan talks about this book called The Bait of Satan.
Oh, yeah. You started reading it.
Yes, I started reading it. And I highlighted a few things because, one, yesterday's message was, here we go. It's called How Are You Managing? It's called 7 hours ago. How are you managing? If you go to Journey Church, I'll actually include this link in the description. So listen to this episode it's not an episode, sermon of Pastor JJ, because he's talking about money, but also what you're doing with what you have, you know? And I always think about that. Am I doing enough with what I'm giving? Am I supplying enough people? Am I putting enough people on? And for me per se, it's not the physically doing things with people, but I'm always someone in position. I'm always trying to work with someone, and I feel how I give back.
Yeah, because you get genuine joy from seeing someone succeed in what they're good at.
I really do.
And you don't expect anything back.
No,
that's a separate contract. We're doing business on those. But when you genuinely like pour into somebody, it's because you're like, you're so good at this. Like, you would be so happy if you did this. Like Ariel.
Ariel,
you can't wait.
It's tomorrow, our first meeting. I meet with Ariel tomorrow. Well, she posted about it. So we are launching a podcast for Ariel Brown. You guys remember her? She came on 2 episodes. She talked about domestic violence and she talked about her adoption story. Yep. So if you follow Ariel now, we are working on a podcast with her that I am going to take on the production for. So excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to put every resource that I have into this podcast to bring it out, but I just genuinely see something in her that her voice needs to be amplified way more than it already is just through Instagram. May is someone that is so freaking talented at what she does. Like from when I met her and we were both scared as shit trying to get like this virtual recording to go, to now her literally getting her checks signed by Issa Rae.
That's wild.
I just be like, wow. And it's like, I loved the fact that you're there, that you were able to climb from like going from working with my little shit I'm 30 podcast to helping Manny to going with Good Moms Bad Choices to, you know, just elevating, and she just kept on elevating. So I just love Kaysen.
Yeah.
Kaysen right now, it's like working, okay?
He got a chair.
He has a chair.
A real chair.
Oh, listen.
Kaysen's a real chair.
Somebody insert Kaysen's little chair picture right here for YouTube, because Kaysen got a goddamn chair.
We working.
Courtney is working. Courtney he has not gone back to work. He has, as far as I know, has not been stripping. None of us had to go stripping, had to start our OnlyFans. I mean, I don't know.
Praise God.
We have not. Stephanie, killing it. She leaves this week back to Atlanta. Yeah, she is in production. I don't even have to go. It's like, deuces, she's out there, right? So I just feel like there are things as we elevate, we just continue, or I want to continue to bring the people on that are doing things for themselves. Now, if you're giving me mediocre work and you are not showing me that you want more,
you will get a meeting.
We gonna have a meeting.
There's a meeting, and then there's thank you for your service.
Yeah, because I like developing what you already have.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need to want to continue to develop that. And if you don't have it, or if this is just not your thing, or I don't see you going above and beyond that, I don't feel like I need to go above and beyond either. And if I don't have someone around me that I can go above and beyond for, I don't want you around. Because I just feel I'm not doing what I could do for you.
That's very parasitic relationship. Like,
you don't like it. So for me, anyone that I'm constantly working with needs to show me creativity, needs to show me how they're going forward. And
if you're with Carla, you you gotta be ready to work at any time because she gets ideas at any time of the day.
I really hope my team, and I know all y'all gotta listen to this, just know you don't have to answer me right away. Sometimes I'll like message, and I love that sometimes Stephanie will be like, I was away from my phone. I'm like, it's fine. Like, I don't care. I gotta let it out whenever it comes in.
It
It's
needs
like,
to be written.
I write it, I send it, and it's like, just get back to me whenever you get back to me. But thankfully, we all love what we do. So it's like, I get this idea and like, oh yeah, well, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, oh, I love my people. Or it's like, oh, we need to edit this. We need to take this out. Oh, we got it. And we're not doing heart surgery or anything, but a lot of it leads us to getting more.
Who are you telling?
Not heart surgery, but sometimes things can get a little chaotic. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed that aspect of it, of growth, and spirituality. And thank you to everyone who listened to that episode and gave me feedback, because that just helps me, evolve the show and what we're doing. But let's talk about yesterday.
Let's get messy.
Why?
Not messy, mixy, because that's all you was. Yes, you was a mixy hoe. HEAUX.
Okay. I was like, damn.
First of all,
I didn't even kiss anybody.
let the record show, okay, that Paola was at home in her pajamas watching Psalm. And I really thought I was going to ask you and be like, hey, so you didn't get anything in for brunch? And you're like, nope, brunch is at this time. This is the address. I said, oh, okay, we're going.
Oh, but wait, can we start first? We got to talk about Church Bay. All right.
Oh, okay.
So within the last 24 hours, I have 3 new bays.
She's gotten married, engaged, and divorced, and remarried again and moving.
All in 24 hours. So
And changed once.
Changed what?
Your clothes one time.
Oh, one time. So here we go. We go to church. Amazing message per usual. I did talk to Pastor JJ. I was so nervous.
Finally.
We finally talked to Pastor JJ. I want him to come on the pod, but I do understand if I'm bracing myself for a no.
Don't do
I don't
that.
know why. And I don't like to think negative, but I just feel like he's such a positive person. And he's also a pastor.
You were so nervous yesterday. It was so cute watching you, like, my little nervous chihuahua.
I was shaking.
I know. I was talking and you're like...
I'm like, can we go now? Like, why are we still talking to him? I feel like we talked to him for 30 minutes.
Que exagera.
How long was it?
It was like a 5-minute conversation.
I just almost felt like a really long time.
But you did good.
Well,
We got an email.
our people are going to talk to his people, and we're going to try to figure out how to make this work. But before then, I'll probably bring my cousin in, Javier, to talk to us, because he's actually really good. But
Church finished, and you're walking down the steps, and I said, look at that.
and when you said look at that, I had already seen. So you said look at that, and I was trying to look at you to tell you to look at that. So we both telling each other look at that, and it was just this tall glass of chocolate milk.
With his
Walking.
Bible, his notebook.
With his Bible and notebook in his hand. And I said, oh, he is studious. He know how to read the paper and the Bible. So I could only see like the back and the side of his head.
And that was enough.
I was like, I think he's cute. But sometimes I just be looking at skin color and I think it's cute. So I kept looking, I'm like, oh, he is handsome. So that was number one, first time we see him. Then we finished with the pastor. And now I'm in church way longer than I usually am. Because the second that pastor say, amen,
Carla said goodbye.
my little bag is on and I am out to go pick up Psalm. So now it feels like the whole thing is empty by the time
That's
we're
why
leaving.
he was going like this when he came.
So I was like, my mom forgot about me. I'm usually the first one out of here. He almost took down the thing.
That's why he was like, Mom.
I thought he was going to break it. He was like, you took way too long.
Oh my goodness.
So-
that makes sense now.
We walk over to pick up Psalm, and as I'm leaving, we see the man again. And he's walking towards us, but I saw him with one of the women that worked there.
Mhm.
Maybe, I don't know, but maybe they were showing him the church. This is his first time there, or at least first time at 9 a.m. because I've never seen him.
You remember I told you a couple Sundays back, it was like they were everywhere. I was like,
What was
Carla.
that one there?
There was a lot. There was long hair, short hair, hats. There was a lot. I text you at church. I said, Carla,
The
there's
cuties.
a lot of cute guys here today.
And the Lord brought the cuties
I was
out.
here by myself.
Journey Church, y'all. You just come out, check it out. But no, so I see him again, and I'm like, "Ee!" And we keep walking.
You literally said eat and ran away.
He walked really fast. Then she's taking the baby while I go to the station to do my Sunday show.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm walking back to my car, he is about to pass my car. We're going to cross each other's paths. So here goes this one. You want me to talk to him? You want me to say something? No, girl. We already did the pastor. That's enough for the day. My nerves are still a little wild.
I'm a good woman. Wing woman.
You're a great wing woman. But here she goes, and we're passing each other. He's passing my car, and we are like right next to each other. He looks at me. He goes, hello. My dumb ass. Like, what are you doing? And I'm thinking I'm being sexy too. In my mind, this is me. Hi.
That was definitely not you.
Definitely when I finished, like in my mind, like, hey, came out. And really what came out was, he just kept walking. I'm like, why did I do that?
And then I yelled out to you.
And then this asshole yells, you're walking right past your blessing. Oh my God.
I literally said that and I saw you go, toom, toom, toom. Like slow your walk. And then you text me, I hate you.
I was so red because he was so close to me.
He was parked right by me too.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Ford Explorer white. Like a white
Ford Explorer?
It's like that. Yeah, it was like the smaller SUV Ford.
Oh, I don't know. Well, a Ford
white
smaller
car.
white SUV.
Should have taken tags. We could have asked somebody.
Magic shirt, somehow. Sweater thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see him then. I didn't say anything. I just shook my head. And you said he looked bad.
He did.
So he saw his
He
spine.
did look back.
He saw his spine back
And
there.
the funny thing is, you're walking, and he looked towards my car, and then he looked back at you, and I was like,
Look
looked
back.
back.
At it. Oh, he looked back. He coming back to church. He coming at 9:00 if he saw that don't from
He's coming
behind.
for God.
He's never coming back. He was like flat. But no, so that was the first thing. And I was just so upset with myself. When I left,
you only have yourself to blame because I was gonna help you.
I could have said something. I could have said, hi, is this your first time here? I've been going to that church for 5 years. Why don't I know anyone? Because I refuse to say hi to people.
Meanwhile.
And this could have been the man I could have said hi to, and I didn't. So whatever. I talked about it on my stories, and I was being a thirst bucket at church. It was time to go. Went to work.
You weren't a thirst bucket. That was like the
An
Lord brought him.
internal thirst bucket. Like, he was just so cute. Okay, so now we have Church Bay, and hopefully we'll find him on Sunday.
We will.
But then the Lord opened the floodgates of men. And we go to brunch.
Carla was the one that had all the information for the location. She was invited. I was the supportive.
This was planned weeks ago.
Yeah, I was the supportive, always ready to go +1. She sends me the address.
My friend said it was a brunch.
Mm-hmm.
Brunch is a restaurant. Brunch is cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking Santiago's Bodega type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm thinking.
Right. So she calls me. Hey, I'm on my way. I should be there in about 10 minutes. I said, I'm right behind you. Okay. I'm driving. I'm talking on the phone and I'm driving. And I get off on the turnpike.
You got a text message from me first.
Yeah. When you text me, I was coming off the turnpike.
Okay.
And you said, this is a club. And I said, I'm in Kissimmee. In Kissimmee. And I said, oh, she is, I was telling her, I said, she is not going to like this place. Because we're already beyond the boundaries of where Carla goes to party.
Way past it.
Nothing past the turnpike is where Carla goes.
No.
And then I drove, and then I made that left at the light. And I said, oh.
We're in the hood.
We're in the hood. And
In the hood of Kissimmee.
And then
We're all the papichulos.
when I turned into the establishment, the first thing that greeted me was the cop that was parked right in the front. And I said, looks like protection won't be coming in with us today.
No.
We only got the Lord and whoever we're with today. And then I parked, and I always tell you this. Every time I dress up, I don't feel that pretty. But then I look at the other people. I say, girl, you look good. I look good,
Girl,
okay?
Some of these girls and they're young. They're young.
Yeah, everything's still high. Everything is still high, tight, no stretch marks.
But they look raggedy.
There was 3 views. People like us that didn't know where we were going, so we wore decent clothes. There was a couple of us in there. There was a couple. Then we had the 25-year-olds celebrating their birthday with no panties on.
Oh yes! Wow, to be 25 again.
To be 25 and not be scared of germs. What was that like?
Because okay, it's yes, there was food, but it's a club.
It's a club.
So it's nothing but a bunch of tables and sections, but you're sitting and then things had spilled.
Right.
Things spilled. There's mixers and all kinds of things. So you're
shoes, because people are putting their shoes on the couch.
Sitting on the couch because you're sitting up higher. If you're sitting on the actual couch, you're like really low and you can't see anything. So you kind of have to sit up on the top or the back of the couch like a club.
So these girls had their butt cheeks hanging out, sitting on these things.
Boils for sure.
I hope God protects them and nothing happens to their butt cheeks.
You know how them girls that got herpes from hookah? These girls definitely got herpes from that, like sitting on that chair.
At least like butt acne. At least.
Ew. I don't know.
Minimum.
Anyway.
And then the third group of girls.
Which ones?
The brat dolls.
Oh, they all look the same.
I thought it was so creepy.
They'll have like the black straight hair.
Or blonde.
With the same boob doctor, the same BBL, and the same like tights with the tight shirt.
Yeah.
And then the heels. And the same makeup.
And lips.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the eyelashes.
The same. But you know what? It's 2023 and I'm not going to be a complete auntie. If it's the thing, it's the thing. It is what it is. Y'all look great. Y'all look good.
I mean,
great brat
you
dolls.
made out great.
Okay. So my homeboy he's a black man. He was out with a bunch of his friends. Like, we're in Orlando. Let's go out the night before. And I was like, nah. Nighttime not for me. The club is not for me, but brunch it is. Brunch ended up being a club. And I was like, well, goddamn. I'm already here. Like, it is what it is. The Lord...
I'm already, you were getting wanded. You couldn't walk away now.
No, like I was already inside. I'm like, all right, it's cool. And I actually did feel kind of safe because I was literally surrounded by about 10 huge men.
Yes.
Like they were all like big guys. So at first I was very nervous and they kept popping this like.
The confetti.
Oh, this fucking confetti. And it sounded like gunshots every time. And every time, like the first 2 times I like jumped and finally changed. I was like, bro. You're fine. Like, no one's going to touch you. And literally, it looked like I was a celebrity with a bunch of bodyguards. Because that's what it was like.
You are a celebrity.
Girl, shut up.
There were body men. There were men that looked like bodyguards.
Literally look like bodyguards. They look like Floyd Mayweather's bodyguards. Like, big guys.
Well, you were safe. Not 1 second did I feel unsafe. They were all making sure we were good.
Yeah.
Hydrated.
They were all hella cool, super hydrated. So... my homeboy was like, hey, I think so-and-so is flirting. And I'm like, no, he's not.
Yes, he was.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm literally talking to everyone. Like, we're all...
Nah. You were giving him a little shoulder.
Me?
Yeah.
I gave him shoulder?
Yeah.
No way.
You gave him a couple times. Couple times.
Listen, what's the other one's name? The foot claw guy. The one that could touch my damn feet. We're not saying names. I meant the name you
said,
gave
what's
him.
his name? I'm sorry.
We will take that out of here. Like the fuck?
Captain Hook.
Captain Hook. There we go.
Whew.
There was another one that like the second he saw my toes.
Carla, hold on. Let me show you. So Carla was being mixy. Let the record show she chose this place. I was just supporting. I was acting a part. Carla... like, you know what? I'm too low. I need to get on. I said, get up on that couch, girl. You know you want to. Go up there. Get up there. She gets up there. She was wearing a dress.
A long dress.
A long dress. Her dress kind of got caught. I don't know if it was your shoe or something. So she lifted up her dress just a little bit. And this man was sitting right next to her. He saw her feet. He was like, his eyes. You know how Sam looks when he sees your toes? He's like, it was the same look. And I was looking at him because I was sitting across from you. He was like, and I was like, oh, you freaky little thing. You like feet.
And then all of a sudden he just started hooking his finger and like would grab my toes. And I'm like,
I promise you that shit was making his dick hard just a little bit every time he did it because he was loving it.
I was like, can you not touch my toes?
And you telling him to stop? Oh, it made it better.
And then he was like, you have really long toes. And I'm like, yes, I'm a size 10. I got big ass feet. So he's like, well, let me see your whole foot. Nigga.
He asked about your arch.
Then he was like, yo, are you flat-footed? I said, no, I got an arch. He's like, I'm like, what the? He goes, are you on feet finders?
That made it a little bit harder. You mean to tell me these could be my feet? Nobody else is going to look at them?
No.
Yeah, he loved it.
He was cool, but no.
He ruined it with the feet. He kept hooking your feet, and I think after a little bit, you were like, what the fuck?
I literally was like, I wear a size 10, and you would not want this big-ass foot up your ass. Leave me alone.
Literally.
Like it literally said, and he found
And then
that
he
so
did it again.
funny. He was just
Did it
like,
again.
he laughed, and I'm like, oh, you think I'm flirting?
He's a
I'm not
freaky little thing.
flirting. I'm literally gonna shove my foot up your ass. Leave me alone.
Oh, freaky
God.
little boy.
But there was this other guy, and
He is Publix.
Publix Bay.
Publix. Bay.
So none of them are from Florida.
Amen.
And he was just so nice. And I was thinking about everything that I've been talking about lately, how my body reacts to people. And as I'm talking to him and finally you're like, he's flirting, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, well, let me see if he really is flirting. So we start talking, and everything was just so nice. He was nice, and I didn't feel like
He was corny like you.
he understood my corny jokes.
And you loved it.
And he was just as corny.
Yep.
Loved it. And I didn't feel uncomfortable. And I was thinking back to like the date that I went with the Tampa guy that was the weird one.
Mm-hmm.
He made me feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
I didn't like that one at all. And that I felt uncomfortable. I was like, no. So we left. And
Say that again?
him and I left because they were going downtown, and I'm like, oof, I'm hungry. Like by this time I'm hungry again. And he's like, oh my God, the first time I tried a public sub, whatever. So we're like, let's go have a public sub. So we drove and went and got a sub and went straight to meet everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
We were at the place. Then my homegirl was down the street. So I was like, will you go with me to go say hi to my friend at a
Yes,
different
babe.
bar?
Give me your hand.
No,
Let's go.
they had hands then.
Let's go.
We just walked to another bar. And he's very tall. And very big. I didn't realize how tall he was because I was up on the couch the whole time. So me and him were eye level. For hours, eye level. Finally, I get on the ground, and this man is huge.
And you loved it.
It was kind of nice.
You felt so safe.
It was nice.
It was so nice.
It was nice. But everywhere we went, first of all, people know me. And especially downtown, I worked downtown for years. There's people that I know that I work with now. So they're looking like, whoa, time is late. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Who is this?
And who is this man next to you? So every single one person that came to talk to me, like especially the guys, would say hi and then be like, hey man, how are you? We're just friends. And I'm like, this is not my man. But
sometimes you exude. You know how some guys have like BDE?
he has BDE.
He has like BDE, I could be your husband energy.
Yes. Not BDE like I'm fucking her, but BDE like I that's my lady.
Respect me and
Yes.
respect her.
Oh my God.
And he didn't even do anything. He wasn't loud. Not
Nothing.
one time was he loud.
Doing
you
the
know how-
most?
Yes, because you know
He
how
never
sometimes
did the
guys are like
most.
that?
Yeah.
He was so chill and mellow.
He did. Even when he was dancing with me and he would do his little dance, it was like very like subtle and it was cute. And then he would stop. He didn't do the most.
Yeah.
Like it was very good vibes. So he went with me to go see my friend, and I thought that was cool because he's in a city that he doesn't know. He's never been out there.
He just met you.
He just met me.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I want cookies. So we walked over to Insomnia Cookies and got a box of cookies, and that was amazing. And then we brought the cookies back into the club, and we ate, everybody's
he didn't
taking
think nothing
shots.
of it. He didn't think
Nothing.
you want these cookies. I got these cookies for you. Let's go.
He's feeding me cookies in the club.
You found love in a hopeless place.
Oh my gosh, it was so great. And one thing that I loved is that he wasn't pushing me to drink.
No,
He wasn't like
chill.
having the drink. I mean, he was.
I was drinking for you.
Yeah, I took like 2 half shots. But he was cool with it. Like he didn't sit there and be like, "Oh my God," like there was this one, like that one guy. Oh, we were outside. Oh, so stupid. Like
He just kept
wow,
going
you
and
go
going
outside
and
and you don't
going.
drink. What's the point of going outside? I'm like, I feel so sorry for you that you have to drink to go outside. Like weird.
And he wasn't cute.
He was not cute at all. Mm-mm. But the Lord opened the floodgates of men last night. There was plenty of them, and is this what dating is? You could just like meet someone and whatever, and if it happens, it doesn't. We said goodbye. We did not kiss. There was no kissing. We hugged, and that was it.
What? You held his hand.
Oh my God.
You held his hand.
I
And what else?
what? He did give me a kiss on the cheek.
And Carla's not pregnant, guys. Just so you know, this is the most action. And when I mean action, that's like second base for her right now. A kiss is second base.
He kissed my cheek, and it was definitely like I had goosebumps. I'm
He
like,
had to come down to your level.
well, we
and
were in the
give you a
car.
kiss.
Like I gave him a hug in the car.
Ooh.
Shut up. Oh my
Okay.
God. I'm getting hot.
You know where it's hot?
Where?
Texas.
Shut up.
Get used to it.
So let's see. Maybe this will be my me getting my feet wet into dating. But what sucks about this is that now I'm like, oh, I think I kind of like him. I can't eat. I forgot about Church Bay. Now, like, I was so eager to find Church Bay that I'm like, I found my
You know what
husband.
God said? God's like, not that one.
This one.
This one.
He made me open up the possibilities to like bring the one in the evening. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Very nice guy.
I love him. You were out at from 3. I woke up scared, panicked. Oh God, did Carla make it home? Oh God, she called me. I was asleep. Oh my God. I checked. She's home.
I was home.
Everything was fine. She was happy. She had food and cookies.
I did.
She went to bed. She woke up this morning. She hasn't stopped smiling since.
I really haven't.
So Publix, just so you know, I don't know if you listen to this.
No.
I said I don't know.
I don't think he has social media. I have tried to find him and I can't find him.
If you're listening to this,
He better not.
come back. I want
He
to
said
go out
he's
again.
gonna come back, so we'll
wanna
see
go
if
out
he comes
again.
back. If he doesn't, like, it is what it is. Oh my God, I have a meeting in 12 minutes. All right, well, we're gonna wrap this up. It's getting a little long, and I might tell too much.
Long like your toes.
And what's crazy about that is that physically, that was my type.
You got to change your type, and look what's happening now that you changed your type.
God did change my. This guy is not necessarily. He's my type, but not. No,
He's not your type per se. Like, you wouldn't seek him,
No,
but he's giving you all the qualities you like.
he is,
Every
and the
single
qualities that I
quality.
know that I need.
Yeah.
But again, just met him. We'll see. I don't know. People. The
The
last
summer's
one,
long.
I'm very. What's the word?
Hopeful?
No, skeptical. Complete opposite. I am still very skeptical because you can be very charming, and he doesn't know me. He didn't know me. He doesn't know anything about me. So
Which is good.
which is great. But now he could probably Google me. So now I'm like a little scared.
Like, you Googled him?
I Googled him, I cannot believe there's only that information online. Like, are you really not on social media?
Maybe that's God. Maybe God's like, you know what? I want to hide you from the world, not hide the world from you. That's
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna look through here in the book that I'm reading, The Bait of Satan, that I got from Megan. Some of these things is I highlighted this, and it says, let me see which one I'll pick. We'll do this one right here. There's this passage that says, where is it? Okay, this one is talking about unbelievers and people being very selfish in the last days. And you start seeing that you're being around people that are extremely selfish. And in order for you to get hurt, is you're finding that the people that can hurt you are the people that's closest to you.
Mhm.
Comments online probably won't make you be hella depressed. I mean, unless you're Cardi B and you're getting millions of them, right? And you get that to you. But a stranger saying, "Hey, you stupid B," like, or you're no good or whatever, you're like, you don't know me. But when it comes from a family member or someone you love, that's when it really hurts. And this says in 2 Timothy 3:2 that the Bible is very clear that in the last days men will be lovers of themselves, and we expect this in unbelievers, but Paul wasn't referring to those outside the church. He was talking about those within it. Many are wounded, hurt, and bitter. They are offended, but they do not realize that they have all fallen into Satan's trap. So this entire first chapter is talking about us falling into Satan's trap of being hurt. And when we're hurt, we would say hurt people, but we don't realize we're in a trap whenever we're holding on to a grudge or offense. Just the fact that you were offended. So I am now working on the fact that these people that have hurt me the most, from my mother to my ex to my daughter, who when she's mad at me, she'll say the worst things ever. And I'm like, it's just more saying, one, what Pastor Jay just said in this sermon, it's like nothing that we have is ours, it's borrowed. So including my children, and that the people that have hurt me, from siblings to family members, exes, whatever, thank you. Thank you for doing what you did. I'm not offended. You had your reasoning for getting to where you got to. And maybe next week I'll talk about the story of Joseph and how he was, his brothers sent
Sold
him
him.
to kill him, and then they sold him to slavery, and then he was in prison in Egypt, and like his faith and his dream, and the fact that I need to be put in position. If my heart, there was times where I've said, I cannot wait to get FU money.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to get FU money. And right now I'm changing my mindset. I can't wait to get bless you money. Because if I get into a position where I am able to bless the masses and my family or my ex come to my feet and say, I want to be able to say, here you go.
Without resentment,
Without
grudge,
any resentment.
like just genuinely be like, here, because you want them to be good.
Correct.
Mhm.
Like my ex is the father of my son. Many things that I don't agree with. There's still a lot of things and within boundaries too.
Mhm.
Because it doesn't mean you're gonna come up to me like, give me whatever, with certain boundaries and with the right scenario.
Yeah.
But if there's something does happen where we're having a natural disaster and everybody's about to die, and I have this home that holds these rooms, I want to be able to say that in my heart, I truly can say, all of you can come and be here and eat my food and be safe, and I will be happy to house you without feeling like, nah, closing the door, watch the house, and let the tornado take you.
Okay, so now we got to start prepping for at least 20 people?
That was a terrible analogy, because if there's an apocalypse, come and take me first. I ain't got time for that. So,
It's like
but
my grocery list just got bigger for you.
right. So no, definitely I want to position
be
my
there.
heart where I will not hold any type of offense to things that they've said to me, done to me, or any of it.
I mean, I think you'll get there. It takes time. I'm doing it now with Ryland's dad that just reappeared.
It's wild.
He's been texting and having conversations with me, and I don't feel angry. I don't feel...
Jesus.
Every time he texts me, I could be like, no, you can't see her. Look at what you done. This, that, and the third. Or
Right.
I'm trying to be as positive and as open. When are you going to call her? I sent him the link to her graduation. He watched her graduation. I sent it to him.
Wow.
I sent him graduation
And he
pictures.
still hasn't called.
He still hasn't called, but he can never say you weren't good to me. You didn't
Right.
allow me this. And that feels good.
Yeah.
To be able to see somebody who hurt me horribly.
But you haven't been around him yet. And I feel like being around someone.
Yeah, but you've asked me this, and my answer doesn't change. Like, I still feel like if he were to come to me in front now, I wouldn't feel anything different than what I feel now.
It's a blessing.
Cause it's like there was a time that I hated him. I was like, you literally ruined my life. But now I'm just like, you know what? Me and you are not together. I would love to be co-parents, but I don't
Yeah.
want you to have that over me. Like, I'm
I feel what
happy.
you mean.
Look at me. I'm happy. I'm doing good. Your daughter's great. We can be co-parents. We can be friends, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I agree. I want to be there. I think I'm not far from it. It's just I think sometimes those thoughts that pop into my head are the thoughts that it's like God is probably looking like, you're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
You're not ready for me to bless you with even more, because what have you done with what I've given you so far? You're doing what? You're doing good, but there are still aspects of your life. And I feel like, go read the story of Joseph. It's in this book, Bait of Satan. I believe it's chapter 3 that it's in. But it just really shows how Joseph is put through all these terrible things. And you're like, but why? And God had a plan from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
God had a plan from the beginning for him. And it was that he was going to save the nations and be able to feed them. And my thought was like, oh my goodness, if I put myself in Joseph's feet or shoes, and these people that have offended me and that have hurt me come to me because they need me, not because they just like, oh, I need $100. No, they need me to survive along with other people. Will I say, nah, I'm going to help this other person first? And no, I want to be able to take them on first and say, I got you.
And just look at this. All these little things that have happened, they're like little dots on your timeline when you look at the bigger picture of things. Because you never know, like, yes, you and your family are not eye to eye, but you don't know.
There's a reason for it.
You don't know what's coming after. One, it's not going to be like this forever. It's impossible for it to be like this forever. So it's like, just think about it, and like 10, 20 years from now, you're going to be like...
I'll be 56 and
In 20 years, some of those people might be gone.
Yeah.
So it's
Tomorrow,
like,
somebody can be gone.
Imagine what's gonna happen after they're gone. Like what's left,
What they're
or
asking,
what they say about you. Like towards the end,
yeah.
if somebody can apologize to you when they're dying,
Who knows? I don't know. All I know is that I don't want my actions today to be the reason why someone is upset. And I will continue to move in a way where my actions are not going to cause you any issues. I'm not going to retaliate. I'm not going to match your energy. I'm not a matching your energy type of space. And hopefully if you're listening to this, you don't match anyone's energy either. Just match God's energy. Walk around like Jesus did and just be more like him. There's no point of me saying you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you back, or you did me dirty, I'm gonna do you dirty. Like people that say that literally like, oh, I look at everybody like a person, I'm gonna do to you what you did to me, or I'm gonna do it worse. That's a person that is unhinged. That's a person that does not know God. That's a person that's just, that's it. And when you're offended, you're in the trap of God. And we're over time now, so we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back next week. Don't forget that if you're looking to start a podcast, hit me up, and we could do so. Everything we talked about, I'll make sure it's in the bottom and the description of this episode, including the clips to Damson, whatever we talked about, it'll be on there. And if you need advice, send it to ask@carlawilmaris.com, or if you want to comment on something that happened within that we've talked about, or give us an example so I can read your letter, I will. And that is a wrap. See you later. Bye.